When you're applying for your marriage-based green card, everybody knows that there are a bunch of documents required, a bunch of forms to fill, and a bunch of waiting involved. So I get a lot of questions, what documents do I need? So I'm here to answer those questions for you and to tell you 5 documents that you need to start putting together if you don't already have them, if you haven't already started your application, or if you already started and you don't have these documents, make sure that you have these 5 at least before you submit your application. There's so many other documents you need or you can use to supplement different ones, so reach out to me after watching this video to determine what kinds of documents that could work for your situation. So, but generally, you need to have these 5 documents in your application for sure, especially when you are adjusting your status in the US, when you're married to a US citizen or a green card holder, okay? The number 1 document you need to have is your marriage certificate. You need to have evidence of your relationship because your marriage relationship is the actual reason why you are able to apply for your green card. So if you cannot prove your relationship through your marriage certificate and other supporting documents to show that you have the intention to live together and to start a life together, your application could get rejected or just denied. Okay, so make sure you have that, your marriage certificate. That's the number 2 document that you should definitely have in your application is your birth certificate. The birth certificate for the beneficiary, which is you, and the birth certificate for your U.S. citizen spouse. The USCIS uses your birth certificate for different reasons. For you, it'll be used to verify your place of birth, your parents' information, your date of birth, and just all that good stuff about you. For your spouse, your birth certificate will be used to identify that your spouse is actually a U.S. citizen. And if your spouse is not a U.S. citizen, it would be for the same thing, just to verify their information, place of birth, date of birth, and just information about who you really are, okay? Make sure that your birth certificate is translated into English if it's not already in English. Make sure you are using a certified translator who works with documents for the USCIS, okay? Don't just have your cousin like write something down. It may not be accepted. I've heard people say they translated their own documents, but I prefer to have my clients go to a certified translator to make sure they're getting the right translation that works for the application. Contact me if you need any help finding a translator. Number 3 document that you definitely need to have in your green card application through marriage is your I-94. Your I-94 is very important, especially if you are adjusting your status. That means you are currently in the US, married to a US citizen or green card holder, and you are applying to change from your original status, which you entered in, to your green card. Okay, that's an adjustment of status. You need your I-94 to be able to adjust your status, because if you came into the US without any inspection, that means you did not get your I-94. You will most likely need to go back to your country and do a different process called a consulate process. So you'll be able to still get your green card, but through the consulate process, because you weren't properly admitted through your I-94, okay? So if you want your approval to go smoothly and avoid rejections, make sure you include your I-94 in your application package, all right? The next document I'm talking about today that's definitely important for your marriage-based green card is your address and employment history for the past 5 years. It's not quite a document, but it's just information that you need to have and start to gather now before you actually start your application or send it in. Some people have a hard time remembering. I mean, it's been 5 years. They don't really remember every detail about where they work and where they lived. But in your green card application, you're required to have that information. So you should definitely find out where you've lived, write it down, put it together before you even start the application, so that when you start, it'll kind of be an easy process that just flows. And the 5th document I'm talking about in this video that you need to have in your green card application is your transcripts, your evaluated transcripts if you did not attend school in the US. Transcripts are important to show what level of education you have and what kind of prospects you would have when you become a green card holder. This lets the USCIS know that you won't become a public charge in the future. If you have a higher level of education, you are most likely going to be able to find a job and adjust properly and assimilate into the American system without any issues. But if you have a lower level of education, you are not automatically disqualified from getting your green card, but it will be a negative factor, something that the USCIS will consider when just looking at your entire case and determining whether you are a person that could become a public charge in the future. Okay, make sure to include this transcript because if you don't complete any form for the USCIS, that's even in the instructions, you could get rejected or just flat out denied immediately. So make sure that you look into all the documents you need before you submit your application. My name is Ify. I'm the marriage green card lawyer. I can definitely help you identify those documents that work for your case and even provide you some supplemental documents that you can use to prove different things in your green card application. So if you don't have any particular document I just mentioned in this video, don't freak out. You don't. There's always a solution for your problem. So reach out to me and let's discuss about your marriage-based green card application. All right. Well, I hope this video has helped someone today. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can get notified when I post more content about marriage-based green card and just giving you tips on how to have a successful application, a successful interview process, and also other ways that you could get your green card, perhaps if you're being abused by your spouse. I talk a lot about VAWA cases, emotional and financial abuse, so stay tuned.